Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So we've been decoding Guns N' Roses better. The changes were broken became troubled and ever became never. So if you cross off the letters that did not change, B is still in troubled, R is still in troubled, O from broken, still in troubled, and the E from broken is also still there. What's not there is the KN, and what replaced the other letters is T, U, L, D. Those are your changes. So you bring K, N, T, U, L, D down. Ever changed to never, and ever is actually still there, but this N showed up. So if you cross off what's alike and still there, you left with this N, and you put the N on the end. By the way, this is in order. Okay, now we've already got this to go through the stock market, through genetics, through chemicals, through medical, through the medical category. We've got this thing to run through research groups and chemicals, and now we're going through finance. And if you start with KNT, you got several things here. You got KNT, K92 Mining Incorporated financial statements. So you got financial statements. You've got KNT, which is KNT Williams, who owns a State Farm Insurance and financial management company. You have KNT Insurance Agency. You also have Cora Network, KNT Financial Services Infrastructures, which that seems fairly important right there. Somebody could have easily calculated that. I suppose they could have used the quantum network. We will run the numbers against all these things, believe it or not. A lot of them will eliminate themselves through the decode. Once we convert it to numbers, you'll see that. But KNT is also KNT-C Holdings Company Ltd. And there's your KNTs, and that's I'm sure there's another page or so of them, but that seemed to be the important ones. All right. At some point, you gotta. At some point, you gotta just pick something. If there's a lot of information there's not always a lot of pages of information, but you'll see in the numbers that sometimes there are just way too many to list. All right, and and by the way, they could calculate it all. As I said, we're not getting it all, but we're getting enough. All right. If you get from that, you end up with KN, and that basically backs up and takes KN by itself, leaving the T out. I'll show you guys that. I did KNT, and then I backed up, and I'm doing KN by itself. And I do that sometimes, off and on throughout, just to pick up more information, if it's there or not, and see if it's not there. Sometimes it ain't there, but a lot of times it is. And as I suppose it's the same way I missed that North Dakota and Tennessee were in here, and that's important, as you'll find out. The states were pretty important, but we're going to keep that in mind moving forward. So, anyway, KN is KN Financial Services out of South Africa. You have another KN Financial Services, and you have KN Financial Services in West Hills, California. All right? So 3 financial services, at least. And if you move on from that, you get NTU, which ends up being Nanyang Technological College again. Now, it's come up in every search except the stock market. Okay, they're all over this. Their fingerprints are all over this one, and I would be real surprised if they don't end up being the quantum computer culprit. But here they are. We circled them again because they do stand out. All right. So, If you move on from that, you have TU, which ends up being TELUS Corp. We had that on the stock market on Yahoo Finance. And also you get TU Financial, which is a financial service. All right, I'll provide these links, guys. I might provide the search on a couple of these longer ones. You can just look at the search. But moving on, you get UL. Right. And TU, yes. And then UL. And UL ends up being UL Financial and Professional Services. All right. And then if you move on from that, you get LDN, which are the last three letters going forward. And that ends up being LDN Finance. And yet again, another finance institution. I don't think I have to talk much about that. 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. And that gets you through going forwards. All right. So now coming back, I ran ND because that's North Dakota. They can hit anything in North Dakota. I can't emphasize that enough. I missed it. I made a mistake. I missed the states, and I missed. We'd already figured that out once a long time ago, but we're not gonna miss them again. We're gonna try real hard for here going forward not to miss these states, because whatever's in these states, they can hit. Again, it doesn't even have to be in our categories. It could be me if I was there. They could use me for a calculation if I was in North Dakota or Tennessee if they did this. So, literally anything or anyone they could use for their calculation. But North Dakota, yeah, you end up with North Dakota Finance, Housing. You end up with nd.gov, which has all sorts of finance stuff. All right, and who knows what we might have found in genetics. I might do that, guys, before this is all out. Just see what we would have found. ND and TN in our other categories where I failed to run them for some reason. Just didn't register with me. But yeah, a lot of stuff North Dakota. You also got a couple Notre Dame finance things from Notre Dame. I think everyone knows what that is. But anyway, if you move on from ND, you get NDL, which is basically, I'll show you again. First, I did ND coming back, and then I backed up and took NDL. All right. So we're getting basically there's layers of information here if one wants to look. NDL is Nandan Denim Ltd. on Yahoo Finance. I think we had them on the stock market if I'm not mistaken. If you move on from that, you get LU. Then you got LU Global Investments. You also have Lu Zhang, who looks pretty Chinese. I don't know, but his name looks Chinese, Zhang. And he is at OSU, and he teaches business, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a look at that. Trying to get this done as quickly as possible, guys, so it doesn't run that long. I think, yeah, right here, Lu Zhang, professor of finance. All right, so he is. He's a professor of finance at Ohio State University. All right. Okay. So LU Global Investments and Lu Zhang OSU Finance Professor. If you move on from that, you get UTN, and UTN winds up being Unitica Ltd. on the Frankfurt Exchange. We might have had that before. I mean, on the stock market, but it's here again. It showed up again. So if you move on from that, you get LUT, and LUT you get a master's program in strategic finances at LUT. So that's strategic finances, right? That could have been calculated, or they could have used the quantum network. We'll find out. UT ends up being University of Texas Finance. Not a big surprise there. TN, the state, Tennessee, again, ends up being tn.gov, Finance and Administration, F&A, tn.gov. All right, it's some sort of a one. All right, apologize for that. F&A though, let's look at that 1 second here. F&A, Department of Finance, tn.gov. I saw down here somewhere, I swore. F&A, Finance and Administration for Tennessee. Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration. All right, there you go. So they could hit anything in that. That's what I wanted to. All right. So if you move on from that, you got NK, which are actually the last two letters in the search, and you got NK Financing Corporation. But if you back that up again and go TNK, you end up with TK Tankers Ltd. On the New York Stock Exchange, which we got in the stock market. Now you notice that everything we got in the stock market didn't show back up here, but some things did. And that seems important to me. That's why I've taken those down. So anyway, that gets you through this code going forwards and backwards in the category of finance. And we got a few more to go before we change it to letters or numbers, excuse me. We still have to go through what do we have to go through? No. Gee whiz. We have to hit random hits. And we have to do, well, binary is the very end. We still have to do random hits, but it seemed to me, technology, guys, technology. We got to run the technology search and random hits, and also, yeah, I'll probably go back and hit those states in the other categories and see what's there and what isn't there, guys, because that's important. Because whatever's in those states could be hit. Anything. In the categories or not, that's the important thing. So anytime we see a state, we gotta look and see what's all there. So, but also technology, random hits, and also translations. We'll try some translations on all this. All right, we'll move that U around throughout it like a computer would, and we'll see if we get any sort of a translation, any sort of a message. Like to Willa REO, remember, and it looked like some sort of a personal message with missing information. Give the money to your stone. We found interesting stuff in that, so we'll be doing that. And then we'll turn it to numbers and start again. And when we finally get the process done, we'll move on to stofers and craft, the stuffing, stovetop. And, and looking at the maps for Danny and seeing if we see anything with those. So anyway, ran it longer than I wanted to. Thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. I should say thanks for all your thumbs down when appropriate. That's what I need to start saying. Sometimes you got trolls that go down and thumb down inappropriate, and it just makes you be like, what? Really, guys? That's what we're doing? But so, yeah, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down when appropriate. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And they can do it. That's fine. I think somebody said the interaction's what counts anyway, so thumb her right down, boys. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for your participation. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your evening.